Well, you should have told me, Kiki.
Sis, do you know how difficult it was for me to speak to anybody? I was scared of being disowned by you.
You should have told me.
Dad, Mom.
We wouldn't do such, Kiki.
I saw myself as a disappointment already.
But you should have told me, Kiki.
My academics was at stake. I mean, my class was being a medical practitioner.
Kiki, there are safer options out there. Unsafe abortion is not an option, Kiki.
Look at me.
You should have spoken out.
I wasn't just ready to be a single mom yet.
I don't want to lose you, Kiki.
Sis, I don't want to die.
Jesus, I don't want to lose my sister.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Just hold on. Nothing will happen to you. Let me get mommy and daddy. Hold on, Kiki. I'm coming.
Every year, millions of women die as a result of unsafe abortions. These stories are real.
There were pains, definitely there were pains. It was like cramps, like menstrual cramps, but it was like being on your period and getting sick at the same time, like having malaria with it. It was painful.
There are several severe complications that unsafe abortion results into. For the physical one, it includes hemorrhaging, that is bleeding. It includes uterine perforation, internal organ damage. And also for the mental one, it includes suffering from PTSD, having guilt, being ostracized, especially in a society like Nigeria where there is the culture of silence and shame. So these contribute to the effect or the complications that unsafe abortion have.
It was a bit difficult finding health providers at first, and I had to do a lot of findings and research to find where I could actually get pills, right? And most of the people that I found online were not reliable, and most of them were not even health care providers, so I could not trust them to get from them, and they were not reliable. I've not met these people. They were just claims to have the pills, and it was a lot because this was the first time and I did not have anybody where I could get reliable information from. So
no individual walks in to commit an abortion on her own except by pressure or whatever. We have a lot of physical injuries coming from whatever they are using, like bleeding, hemorrhage. We also have other mental issues, delusion, psychosis, depression comes in. And then we have something like septicemia from the infection of the uterus or the infection of the person resulting from trauma, the vaginal trauma. We also have the uterine trauma. A lot goes on with people that are having unsafe abortion. Unsafe abortion is carrying out a termination of pregnancy from the quacks or whatever, using things that are injurious to health. A lot of complications. Many people have lost their life, especially when it comes to bleeding. Sometimes they walk into places that they have unscreened blood, thereby causing increase in hepatitis as well as HIV and AIDS. The complications cannot be numbered here on air. There are so much. Detrimental to humans and the society as a whole.
Information and public awareness is very important. We as lawyers, we know their rights. By counseling with them and intimating them on what is right and what is wrong and what they stand to lose and what they stand to gain, they will be properly informed on what to do, what step to take.
After much consultation and confirmation from my family and friends, I had to make a difficult decision of having an abortion. So, though my choice really weighed down my conscience, but I made the right choice out of it because it wouldn't hinder my future. Though the process was slow and the emotional aftermath was intense, though I had a mixed feeling of guilty, relief, and sadness.
After some time, they realize that, they are pregnant. And then because of this culture of shaming, the survival, culture of being stigmatized and ostracized in our society, they keep quiet. They do not say anything about it. And then they rather go get unsafe methods such as taking concussions, using invasive objects to hurt themselves. So when there is provision, and this is what we push for policies, we are pushing for service provisions that will bring about awareness for young people, most especially, not just even for young people, as well as for every women and girls. So when they know about these things, they have the knowledge, they're able to make informed decisions. They know that where they can get contraceptive at the community level. They know what to do in case of assault. They know these steps to take. It's going to really, really help. It goes a long way to prevent unsafe abortion. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. And this will go a long way to contribute to maternal mortality being reduced in the country.
So they actually gave me so many things to take, of which some of them were not right for my system, being that I was an ulcer patient. So it dealt with me, and I couldn't just go to the hospital to meet with them, because there they will say you're underage, you're not right, you're still a minor. Challenge was just too much, and then we had to go cut corners to do it, of which if there was a right way and a right place, one could have just
in a situation where someone is raped, they are not aware that they have provision or access to they are not aware that they have access to get post-exposure prophylaxis at the clinic, and also emergency contraceptives, which is to prevent HIV, the PEP to prevent HIV, and as well as the emergency contraceptive to prevent pregnancy. Because of not having this awareness, you see stories with address cases where young girls are raped either in their hostel or maybe like when they are in unsafe places, and then they do not report, they do not do anything about it, and after some time they realize that they are pregnant. And then because of this culture of shaming, the survival, culture of being stigmatized and ostracized in our society, they keep quiet. They do not say anything about it, and then they rather go get unsafe methods such as taking concussions, using invasive objects to hurt themselves.
They have to create awareness about this abortion, like going to schools, getting the children in school, teaching them, educating them on abortion. And they should be in school, they should be counselors at least maybe once in a week, any day of their children, maybe Friday. They should give the children advice, tell them what to do, how to do, like prevention. They should be real with them. Like I used to remember in my secondary school days, always part the companies to come and give us part and give us a little advice and create awareness. So I just need to create awareness so that the children or the kids may have an idea on how they live their life, so they don't have to do abortion, don't have to fall victim for it.
Sex education plays a lot of roles. It means the individual, whoever, is so aware of the body system. The body system, the person knows what is sex. The person knows what it means to engage in sex without protection. So when you have this comprehensive sex education, every individual knows her right to sexual and reproductive health issues. They can ask questions, they have answers, they have access to condoms, they have access to contraceptive. So this sex education will really help. If we start it early in life, every girl child, every boy child knows that. And in any case, abstinence is also a method of contraceptive. They know they can walk in and take condom, they can walk in and have emergency contraceptive, so that it does not even result to pregnancy, talk less of resulting to abortion. When there's pregnancy, a lot of persons find it, especially when it is unintended or unwanted. Nobody wants to have a baby out of the context. Nobody wants to have a baby when they are not prepared. That is why this health education have to be really driven very far into the schools, into the streets, into the markets, because that is why in Nigeria, not only in Nigeria, the world as a whole, we're having a lot of street children are on the increase because of lack of access or lack of information about contraceptives. So they have all this one. Imagine a whole lot of persons getting to have unsafe abortion every now and then because nobody wants to bring in a child that they will not be able to defend or taken care of. Nobody wants to carry burden. Pregnancy is not easy. Parenting is not easy. So a lot of persons say they don't want that kind of a thing. So that is why they resort to unsafe abortion by all means to make sure that they terminate the pregnancy.
What we as legal officers or advocates can do to assist such women is to carry out advocacy, sensitize them on the dangers associated with abortion, unauthorized abortion or illegal abortions, and encouraging them to keep the pregnancy when it comes. Even though some people feel that there are certain circumstances surrounding pregnancy that will make a woman feel bad, that, oh, because of the circumstances of this pregnancy, I will not want to keep, so that I will not be reminding myself about the incident. To me, I don't think there is any circumstance surrounding any pregnancy that will warrant abortion. So I think all they need is education.
But if it is to be done, then it has to be done properly, and it has to be done in a healthy way. So the only thing I see there that can help to protect the lives of women in case they want to commit abortion, because there are instances where people are forced or caused to commit abortion. For instance, in cases where they have encountered maybe unwanted pregnancy, or maybe sometimes the young girls will feel they will be unable to keep the pregnancy and they will be forced, or sometimes maybe in the instance of being raped, they will be forced to use the alternative of maybe doing abortion just to get rid of the pregnancy, the unwanted pregnancy. Then in that instance, I think it will be helpful if there will be a legal framework on ground to protect the lives of the people, so that instead of they destroying their lives, they will instead be alive. But for me, I would say I am not in support of that, if I may be frank, because I know that the law is trying to help people not to endanger their lives by committing abortion, or maybe indiscriminately, if I may say so. But since the law, even as it is, despite the legal framework, people are still going ahead to do it. So I think it will be proper to safeguard it instead, to ensure that people's lives are safe, that people do it without fear, and maybe when they want to do it too, they can go to a good place, a better place, a qualified place that can attend to them and do it properly for them. I think if such law is put on ground, a lot of lives will be saved.
Facing similar thing, I think you should just do what you know is best for you. I mean, you understand yourself, you know what you can do and what you cannot. So I just believe that if you just do what you know is right, what you know you will not regret. So that's what I just. Our Nigerian society needs to understand that abortion shouldn't to not bring a child to this world. It's not like maybe someone doesn't have conscience. It's just something that you just have no choice. Like some people have no choice but to do it, but others who just don't just want it. But if you're in a situation where you have no choice, maybe something bigger is on the way and you cannot achieve that thing with the child. So I just say maybe do what's best for you.
I wish if I was more aware of myself, and if I didn't take what happened lightly, if I'd maybe taken some preventives to avoid being pregnant, or I would have known on time.
Oftentimes in the online space, I've seen reports that, when issues of unsafe abortion or similar issues don't go right, you see victim blaming narratives. For instance, I remember seeing a blog headline that looked like girl trying to chill with the big boys ends up as a ritual victim. This story just blamed the victim instead of looking at the real issue. Instead of focusing on ritual as a crime, focusing on the criminals who are just perpetrated this heinous crime, it was more about focusing on the victim and looking at it from the angle of, like a moral controversy. If she wasn't trying to chill with the big boy, she wouldn't end up this way. So it is important that when we speak about these issues around women's reproductive choices and women's reproductive health, issues like unsafe abortion and the likes, it is important that we look at it from the angle of a public health crisis. How many options do women have? Are women often left with options when they find themselves in situations like this? What can we do, as an institution or as a country, as institutions? What are those institutional barriers that lead to these unsafe decisions that women take every day? What are the systemic barriers? How can things be done better? So it is important that we prioritize storytelling that preserves the dignity of the victim or of the survivor as well as their agency, instead of just telling it from the angle of a moral controversy. Instead of judgments, let's consider compassion over judgment. Let's consider what we can do better as individuals generally.
The society which it belongs to, especially when it is concerning the adolescents, sometimes they feel that it is wrong for them to have sex. Talk less of having contraception, talk less of coming to the hospital to assess. Apart from the parents don't even give a go ahead to those things. Aside parents, we have the religious body. They feel that having access to contraception is an evil, and having access to the hospital for a safe procedure. That's why you find a lot of persons out there. Sometimes they initiate this aspect of unsafe abortion, coming to the hospital because of stigmatization and nobody to talk to, nobody to discuss. Sometimes they stay at home and they lose their life. So that is one of the big stigmatization. What will people say? This idea of my mom will heal me, my dad will heal me, because I'm pregnant, I have to look for other ways that I don't want people to know about the pregnancy. So that is one of the barriers. Sometimes it's closer to the place, poor terrain, and behavior of some persons you find around. Any young person that is pregnant is then evil and she has committed an offense. She does not deserve to have good care. So those are some of the barriers.
Many Nigerian women resort to unsafe abortion due to unavailability of proper healthcare facilities and affordable reproductive healthcare services. The stigma and shame surrounding abortion in Nigeria can lead women to seek out unqualified practitioners, putting their lives at risk.
There are successive initiatives that have been done in my place of work to reduce this unsafe abortion. Number one is family planning. Because if there's no pregnancy, there is no case of abortion or unsafe. Family planning advocacy, family planning access is really on. And we are talking about this unsafe abortion. Unsafe abortion means that you going to the quack to tell the quack, look, I want to terminate this pregnancy. And also, a lot of persons that are pregnant, sometimes they may want to have the baby, but because of pressures from home, we link them up to the families. A lot of persons have been linked up to the families. And another thing is that here in General Hospital, we also have what we call the Young Mom Clinic. The Young Mom Clinic is an initiative of the UNFPA through the Cross River State Ministry of Health, which takes care of the young persons that are pregnant and they are willing to have their babies. They give them delivery kits, everything is being taken care of them free of charge. The unsafe abortion, advocacy and education is going on in the hospital. Sometimes they may initiate the abortion unsafely and they are coming to the hospital. We have a lot of units in the hospitals that are there ready to save these ones. First of all, we must save the lives of the young person or whoever that is coming with this unsafe abortion. And then we initiate family planning. Because when they are on contraception, the issue of getting pregnant is not there. Is anybody that has unsafe abortion and is coming to the hospital is being treating them, they must have family planning in them. It is not as if it is a must, but this is what we are advocating for. So that the issue of I'm pregnant today, pregnant tomorrow is not there. We will not have this increase again. And very soon, what is happening, the case of unsafe abortion will not be there because everybody is now having access to family planning in Cross River State.
The problem here is not abortion. The problem is unsafe abortion. Now, CSOs and legal practitioners it's encouraged that we carry out sensitization to let people know it's not good to use unprofessionals, unskilled persons who now use unskilled medical tools which are not supposed to be used. You look at situations, you can see teenagers who use hanger, then some put on concussions they prepare at home, and these things damage their lives. Some end up losing their lives. There should be sensitization so that when they are in such situations, they should go and seek the advice of a professional by going to medical center or a recognized hospital where they will get appropriate information, because most of them lose their life because they do not have the appropriate or correct information as to these things. So when they go to the hospitals, they will get the appropriate and correct information and they will be guided on what to do and how to take care of themselves.
Amplify the voices of women working to curb unsafe abortions will be to give these women platforms to tell their stories, to use languages that are inclusive, to use languages that do not victim blame, to use languages that point out to the systemic barriers like I had mentioned before and find solutions to these barriers. filmmakers, journalists, everyone working in this field, it is important that you do good research, have the statistics at hand, have the data. And when you do, it is important that it is presented right, so that there is a call to action, so that everyone knows that they have a role to play when it comes to speaking up for women's issues, because women's rights matter, women's health women's health is a very important conversation that should not be swept under the carpet as often as it is done. When it comes to issues of unsafe abortion, it remains a concern. It's a crisis. And so, like I've said before, let's look at it as a public health crisis. Both researchers, both journalists, filmmakers, ensure that you prioritize protecting the agency of the victim instead of victim blaming, most importantly. Do your research properly and ensure that these stories are told in a way that these voices of these people are heard. You can partner with, agencies, work with agencies. Advocacy is often key, so it is important that your stories are advocating for the rights of these women.
As we have seen, the reality of unsafe abortion in Nigeria is a stark reminder of the urgent need for change. The lives lost, the futures cut short, and the families torn apart are a testimony to the devastating consequences of a system that fails to prioritize the health and well-being of its women. But it's not just a Nigerian problem, it's a global issue that requires a collective response. We must work together to create a world where every woman has access to safe and affordable reproductive health care, where every pregnancy is wanted and every child is loved. The time for change is now. Let us join forces to break the silence, to challenge the stigma, and to demand a better future for all women. For the women who have lost their lives, for the families who have been torn apart, and for the future of our world, we must act now.